Hey everybody, have you ever been interested in doing time-lapse photography at night? Join me and I'll show you how I've gotten into it and what my process is for making time-lapse at night. You're watching Astro Everett. Hey everybody, welcome back. So today I'm going to try something a little bit different on the channel. I've been playing around with time lapses, and I was out the other night during the blood moon, trying my hand at time lapses. That's the first time I've tried doing that, actually with my DSLR camera, and we got clouded out. Um, yeah, it wasn't a good night. It started off okay. There were some intermittent clouds and all that, but then we just got completely clouded out. So, but anyway, I'm going to show you how I get the photos off my DSLR camera onto my computer, and show you how to stack them and get them in a sequence so that they actually become a time lapse. You're gonna. I'm learning as I go. I've recently found out that you can do it in the video editor that I use, which is Shotcut. But also you can use it in Photoshop. As soon as you open the images, them being raw files, it automatically opens up Camera Raw Filter. So from there, you can actually make that transfer them over from raw files to TIFFs, and then you can open those TIFFs as a sequence. And apparently, you can do the same thing in Shotcut, and you can make a time lapse. The only thing with Shotcut is you can't mess around with the colors, the saturation, or anything. So probably what I'll do is I will do part of it in Photoshop and part of it in Shotcut. Like I'll edit the pictures in or I'll edit the sequence in Photoshop, and then I'll make the sequence in Shotcut, because I think in Shotcut it runs a little bit smoother. With Photoshop, it's very it takes a long time. So I'll try and make this video as quick as I can. Like I said, I'm just starting out learning how to do time lapses, so hopefully you'll gain some good information from this. If you do, I would greatly appreciate a thumbs up on the video, and a subscribe. That would be great. And possibly if you want to share this with somebody that you know that wants to learn about time lapses, I hope this video helps. And let's get into it. Okay, so first things we got to do is we have to make a folder on our desktop where the images are going to go from our camera. We're going to copy them over. Now, I took a whole bunch of different photos of different spots in the sky, so I have to go in and look, and I even did some daytime time lapse. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put the daytime time lapse. I'm just gonna take everything from the night that I did, the two different parts of the sky, and then we'll go in and we'll try and separate those as we go. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new folder here. New folder, and I'll name this time lapse test. All right. Okay, so that is where all the photos from the camera are going to go. So let's go into here. Okay. And then Canon one. Now there's a lot of pictures in here, so it's going to take a bit to populate, I would imagine. Well, actually, it seems to be moving pretty good. Yeah, I was gonna pause the video, but yeah, it seems to be working not too bad. As you can see, those are all the daytime videos or pictures that I took. Sorry. So we're just going to see how we make out here. Wow, that's a lot of pictures. I didn't realize that I had it running that long. But is there any nighttime pictures here or what? Unless those are the nighttime pictures. I don't think they are. Ah, there's the nighttime pictures. Okay, perfect. All right. Now, the reason why I was doing time lapse at night is I wanted to see if I could capture the stars and have and take a time lapse of them moving across the sky. Now, mind you, the moon was 98% illuminated. Um, Actually, the full moon was it's finishing. It's starting to go to a new moon now. So we're past full moon and we're going towards new moon. So I think they call that the waning part of the moon. So it's starting to wane. The full moon is starting to wane. Okay. Yeah. And we got some. Holy moly, man. We got a lot of pictures here. A lot of pictures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the. Oh, maybe not. Did it all finish? I don't know. Yep, it's finished. Yep, there they are. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go and highlight the the nighttime images from the daytime images. So the nighttime images start here. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to hold Shift down, and then I'm going to click this, and then I'm going to cut them from the card. That way because I like working with a fresh card. Every night, if I'm going to use my DSLR, I like working with a fresh, clean card. So if I don't cut them, I usually end up erasing them. Or if I know that I don't need them, I'll just erase the card and I start fresh. So let's cut that. We'll go to desktop, and then we'll put them in time-lapse test. So now this is probably going to take a while. So let's see. So yeah, this is going to take a while, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the recording here. Yeah, 8 minutes. So yeah, I'm going to pause the recording here, and then we'll come back when it's all done transferring. Okay, about another 10 seconds to go, and all the files will be transferred off the camera and onto my computer. So we'll just wait here for this to be done. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Just wait for that little wheel to stop spinning. Make sure everything's all transferred over. And it's not responding. Oh, okay. Wonder what happened here. Well, let me pause the recording here again, and I'm going to find out what's going on. Okay, so apparently the computer had a little bit of processing problem there, and it didn't like running, I guess, my screen capture software and the transfer. But anyway, it's fine. It didn't crash or anything, so we're all good. As you can see, all the images are there. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go into Photoshop. Okay, I got Photoshop already open, and I'm going to go Open or File, Open. Okay, and there's all the images there. I'm going to scroll down. Okay, so here's the last one of the first set that I did, the first time-lapse set I'm going to do. So I'm going to just do that for this tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that, hold Shift, and go back up and click the first one and go Open. Okay, gonna give it a second. Okay, now camera raw filter has opened up. As you can see, all along the side here, I got all the images that I took. And as you can see, the images, they shift slightly. And I can even zoom in. At least I should be able to. Wow, my computer's really working here. I find with camera raw filter too, trying to zoom in, especially it's just a laptop. It's not a beefy computer by any stretch of the imagination. I would really like a dedicated processing computer, but unfortunately, at this present time, I don't have the means to do that. So it's all good. This laptop's fairly new. It's just, again, it's not the beefy end of it. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom in here, and yeah, look at all the stars. Okay, now these were 5-second exposures at 18 millimeters. As you can see, there's a little bit of star trailing, but I'm not too worried about it because I'm like the time lapse is going to be zoomed out. You're not going to notice that. So anyway, let me see. Let me click on that. Okay, so yeah, I can just click on. So yeah, I see a bit of star trailing, but again, not going to worry about it because we're going to be zoomed out, and this is how the time lapse is going to look. Okay, so now what we do is we click on the first one. If we want to make any changes to the saturation or the color or anything, we can do this to this image and apply it to all these. So like say you want to bump up the contrast, make it a bit darker or a bit lighter. It doesn't matter. You can. So let's just do some changes. I'm not gonna worry too much how it's gonna turn out because throughout the time lapse it's gonna get darker. So you know what? Actually, I'm going to leave it. I'm gonna put it back to 0. I'm not really gonna touch anything. Clarity. Yeah, let's bump up the clarity a little bit and dehaze. Let's see what that does. Okay, so you know what? Let's just try those two settings. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we go up to here. Now if you're using Photoshop, your Photoshop might be different than mine. But anyway, there should be like a little I guess they call that a hamburger. Anyways, there should be a hamburger menu, or there might even be a menu on the actual thumbnail that should say. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all. We're going to go up to this hamburger thing and click on it, and hopefully it'll respond here. Okay, select all. Okay, and then sync settings. So everything that we changed in this initial image will be applied to all the other images in the time lapse. Okay, it's going to bring up a menu, and then it's going to ask you what you want to synchronize. So we synchronized everything. We synchronized, I think it was the clarity, which is right here, which is checked, and the dehaze, which is checked. So it'll apply those settings to all those images. So then we just go OK. And now all the images are of the same color palette. Or not color palette, but all the changes were made to every single thing there. Okay? Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to take all these images and put them into a file folder that we're going to make, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so then what we want to convert these to TIFFs. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go down back to our folder where we put our time lapse test folder. Okay, we're just going to make another new folder, and we're just going to say night sky TIFFs. Okay, so there. So then we go back to Photoshop. Okay. We go up to the little hamburger here. Wow, this little laptop's running like crazy. I can hear the fan going because it's working so much. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Okay, so you go select all again. And then what you do is you go down to save images. Okay. Now, so what we want to do is we want to select where we want these images to go. So you go select folder, night sky TIFFs. There, it's almost like it actually knew. So night sky, and then go select. All right. I leave everything the same. I don't touch it. Now, if you notice that if you come down, you want to save them as TIFFs. So you want to change this format. If this format is something other than TIFFs, just click the drop-down menu and hit TIFFs. So it'll save it as TIFFs, and then you go save. So now you're going to see down at the lower left or lower quarter left of the screen here, on my screen anyway, you see remaining images. So what it's doing is as it's saving the images, it's counting down. So this is probably going to take a few minutes, probably more than a few minutes. But anyway, I'm going to pause the video and we'll come back when everything is saved. Okay, so that took probably about almost 7 minutes to do. So yeah, it's all transferred over. So let's go into time lapse test, night sky TIFFs, and it named them eclipses. Okay, I didn't change the file name. That's not a problem. I'm not worried about it. So now, one thing I noticed with doing this in Shotcut, if these numbers here, I'm pointing and you can't see, you probably can't see. Anyways, if all these numbers here aren't sequential, it won't add them to a sequence. So like if I would have to exclude this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click on this and I'm going to delete it, because they all have to be sequential in order to transfer the files over. Now, yeah, I should have paid more attention to the file name, but the file name is not important. I know what I'm doing, but for future reference, just name the files in Photoshop that you are going to, what the time lapse is going to be about per se. Now, I was trying to do this for stars, but as you can see, there's a lot of clouds. There's so many clouds, but as you know, as it progresses, kind of the clouds start to dissipate. I can't even remember how long this was for. I think it was for about an hour and a half. Um, well, it's a 5 second image, and I waited 12 seconds in between shots. So you do the math. I think it's an hour and something. It was a fair bit anyway. But anyways, okay. So now we go into Shotcut. I'm gonna just close down Photoshop here. I'm gonna go done, and then I'm gonna close down Photoshop, and I'm gonna open Shotcut. All right. So if you use Shotcut for video processing, what you it starts off here. So we got to give it a name. So let's just say I was gonna put night stars, but it should say night clouds. So I'm gonna do that. Night clouds, and go start. And I'm gonna set it to 30 frames a second. So go start. Okay, so now that we're in Shotcut, so what we're gonna do is We're going to drag this one over into our playlist. Okay, I'm going to minimize that. And then we're going to go click on it, or right click on it, and go down to properties. Actually, no, it's not there. Where is it? Properties, right here. No, that's not working. Okay. Properties. Okay. Image sequence. So there we go. So when we go back to the playlist now, so what it does is it's linked all the pictures that were in that file folder as a sequence, and it made a sequence. It made a time lapse. Even though you only see one TIFF there, it made an 8-second. All those pictures together made an 8-second time lapse. So that's actually pretty cool. Now I've had to pause the recording and just make sure that I'm doing stuff right before I bring it to you. So forgive me again. This is my first time trying to do time lapses and messing around with it, and I wanted to make sure that I did it correctly and show you correctly, so you don't get confused or anything like that. So, but yeah, this is the time lapse, which is really cool. Like even though there's tons of clouds, like, and look at how it's moving fast, but I mean, look at how smooth it's moving. Of course, it's moving at 30 frames a second. So, and now you can also change this too. You can also change how fast it plays. Okay, so now what we want to do, I believe, is we want to drag this down. If we want to edit it, if we want to edit this, if we want to keep it the same, we can keep it the same. But if we want to edit it, we got to bring it down to the timeline. Okay. And then we can go properties on this. So it's got to be selected in red. Okay. Let's see here. Nope. There's a way of doing this where you can slow it down. Okay. Let me mess around with this a little bit, and I'll get back to you. So that way you guys have the right information. Okay. I figured it out. So yeah, what we have to do now is we have to export this time lapse. We have to export it. I'm going to put it on the desktop. Okay. Playlist. And again, don't mind the name. The name doesn't matter unless you want to name it something that you're working on. But anyway, we're going to export it. I normally just do YouTube because that's where these videos end up going. So anyway, we're going to click YouTube and then export file. Okay, I'm just going to put it on the desktop, Cloudy Nights MP4. Save. So then what happens is the export window comes up and it shows how long it's going to take to export. So what it's doing is it's rendering, it's making an MP4, which is a video file, and it's chucking it on the desktop. And it's done. So it took 27 seconds. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out of this. I'm going to exit out of Shotcut. Do you want to save changes? No. Okay, I'm going to close this. So as you can see, it's right here. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Shotcut again. All right, I'm just going to kind of do this. I'm going to go to my playlist, and all I'm going to do, I'm not going to name it. I'm not going to name nothing. So I'm going to just drag this into my playlist. Okay. I'm going to make this a bit bigger. See, look at how fast that goes. And look at how smooth it is because now it's been rendered. Now, mind you, if there were no clouds, the stars would be pretty prevalent, I would think. But anyways, so what we're going to do is we drag this down to our timeline. Okay. And then we can right click on it. Should be able to go properties. And now a different menu pops up. Okay. So right now the play speed is at one, it's playing at regular speed. So if we want, we can slow it down a bit. We can actually slow it down. So let's go 70%. And then once you click on it, or once you click off it, if you noticed down here, the clip changed in size. So it was 8 seconds. Now it's 12 seconds. Because we've slowed it down, it's going to take longer to play. So let's hit play. See how it's not moving so fast, but it's still moving slow, nice and smooth. So, and it's a bit longer. So, yeah. Now, if we want, we can make it, play it at half speed. Click off it and watch. See, yep, down. See where it was to where it is. So now, if we click on it, so let's click to the beginning. See, it's still running fairly smooth. It's still running fairly smooth. I wish there weren't that many clouds, but you get what you're given. But yeah. So all in all, so now what you want to do is if you want to save this or export this one, you can export it again to the desktop. And so let's try that. Let's try that. So let's go export. Okay, we got it set to YouTube. Okay, export file. And now it's going to ask us what we want. So let's click on this one. It's going to say, do we? It already exists, probably. Do we want to overwrite it or whatever? So let's see what happens. Okay, do you want to replace it? Yes. You cannot write to the file that's in your project. Okay. So then we would probably have to rename it. So say test 2 or cloudy nights 2 or night clouds 2, whatever. So that's how you make a time lapse. And then you can take that video and you can post it to your social media. You can put it on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So I'm going to end the video here. I hope that it was. I hope that you guys got some knowledge and how to do time lapses. Again, I'm sorry for all the pausing and all that, and I didn't. I want to bring you the right information so so you don't get confused, because I just wanted you to give you the right information. So, anyways, I hope you found this video informative. If you did, again, please smash that like button, subscribe, and share. That would be awesome. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Clear nights, clear skies. See you later.